Welcome everyone to the Joy of NFTs, episode number 2. Today we have an amazing lineup for you guys. We have Ryan Talbot, a 3D artist, and Oelhan, a motion designer artist from France. And
Mhm.
we also have a community member joining us, Peter from Hatch.Art, and a collector and founder, also, creator, Yannick Fola, joining us. For those who don't know about the Joy of NFTs and don't know what the show is about, I created the show basically to provide a platform for artists and especially in the NFT community. And I took I was a little inspired by Bob Ross, The Joy of Painting, because
Mhm.
on that show he, does his painting lives, and his whole purpose is to, inspire other aspiring artists and that show that anybody can paint, and also just provide a little glimpse into the creative process. So this show is to showcase those artists that are, emerging. Maybe they're already, very successful, or maybe they're not known at all. But just provide a platform for all types of people to show who they are and their creative process in this amazing NFT community. So we'll get it started. The first portion of the show is with Peter. He is part of the community, of the NFT community, and he has different initiatives. One of them is called Hatch Art. So we're going to get it started. Peter, if you can just tell us about you and the projects that you have working on.
Yeah, thanks. My name is Peter, and I have since 2014 run a company called Hatch Coding, which teaches kids and teens how to code. And for 7 years, we've been teaching visual programming. And just a few months ago, as I entered the NFT community, I realized that we've been basically teaching kids how to get on art blocks for 7 years. Only we just didn't know it. And so we immediately started running weekly contests to kind of direct the kids' skills into building art block style NFT collections. We've run them for 8 weeks. We've given out over $3,000 in contest money, and we have 24 collections of digital art that's available, and we're actually going to build a marketplace at Hatch.Art where patrons can come and take a look at awesome under 18 NFT art, and they can buy it, and artists can put up their art. Um, and we actually have 4 or 5 partners in the background who are now going to send their kids to us. So just imagine, you know, global nonprofits and coding nonprofits and franchises that have multiple locations where everybody's doing code, and they can basically put up their art on an NFT art place as kids and teens. They can get marketing advice on how to market their NFTs, which parents, grandparents, friends, family, schools, fundraisers, and it's really cool. I'm just having a blast.
That's awesome. So, how did you kind of connect? Because you've been doing this before, kind of into education, bringing kids and learning and teaching them how to code. Why did you decide to pivot into like the Web3 space?
So I think the biggest thing is that before I was teaching kids how to code and create, and everybody was really grateful because they all knew they were getting skills to shape the future, right? Like when they turn 16 or 18 or 22 and get that first job, if they're able to code, maybe that job is a better job. But when I took a look at Web3 and saw a bunch of stories of 12-year-olds earning hundreds of thousands of dollars with NFT collections, or 11-year-olds earning $700 with NFT collections, right? Like, it really, it's not about the big, massive dollar amounts. Like $700 for an 11-year-old was amazing. And this 7-year-old sold digital chickens. She literally just made 14 digital chickens, and she sold them
Mhm.
on BitClout, which is like a crypto Twitter, and she made
Mhm.
$700. And I just, that was really the
That's
the
awesome.
one story I was like, every kid should be able to do that.
Mhm. I wish I would've made, $700 selling crypto chickens or something. I think I was making maybe $1 selling, like, paper crafts to, like, other students or something like that. But yeah, that's amazing. So, can you tell us about, the platform, the goal, and kinda your vision, for as we go into 2022?
Sure. So the learning platform, the vision is from your first day of code to your first job in tech. You can start with 3 or 4 lines of code and just draw a ball that follows the mouse, and you can end up with something that's hundreds of lines of code that can prove to Google or Facebook that you have the technical chops to start off as a junior developer. On the marketplace, the vision is, you know, to simplify OpenSea for kids and teens, but with a marketing game where like you sell one FT, you go from level 1 to level 2, and now all of a sudden like people can take a look and exactly it can be level 80 in Fortnite or whatever. Um, you could be a superstar among the community of kids and teens because you just have the best art, the best marketing, and you've done school fundraisers, you've done community fundraisers, and all sorts of cool stuff.
Very cool. So, who are the people that you want to connect with within the space that will help you, get to that next level and achieve the plans that you have?
Sure. So if you're a patron, if you really kind of have listened to this and you love my mission and you'd love to talk with me about a deeper engagement because you're like an OG punk and you just have way too much ETH, I'm happy to talk to you. Peter at hatch.art, Peter at hatchcoding.art, at hatchcoding.com.
Mhm.
But really, if you have a kid who's anywhere from 8 to 18 and you want them to know code because code is the future, and you think that they would be into code create and earn so they could get whatever, you know toy or gift or whatever it is that they want out of a couple $100 in spending cash. Just go to hatchcoding.com and click start for free, or go to hatch.art and click create your own art, and start learning, entering the contest, and setting up your own little store in the marketplace.
That's awesome. Well, I love the initiative. I hope that a lot of the viewers for this will, love it too and want to jump on it. So, thank you, Peter, for joining us today and being a part of the community. I think you're doing a great job at, taking something that's dear to you and making an impact in kids lives and what they can do at 11 years old earning more than $700
Wonderful.
for a collection. So that's awesome. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks very much.
All right, so now we'll
Mhm.
go into the, uh, artist, portion. We won't start the challenge yet, but I just wanna hear, from both of you. I know a lot about, Ryan and Oelhan, and I've seen your pieces, all over the different marketplaces recently, most recently on Super Rare. You guys have amazing pieces on there. But why don't you start by just giving kinda your background and who you are to the people that may not know you.
Okay, we'll start.
Do you wanna
We'll do
start
it
or
I,
alphabetically. We'll do it alphabetically.
okay, so that's you, Jordan.
okay, cool. Yeah, I was like, okay.
He was
Well,
going by the O. He was going by the O.
yeah, sure. So who am I? So my name is Jordan Coelho. I'm a digital artist and motion designer, or was motion designer. And so early 2021, I started my journey as NFT in NFTs, and it's going pretty well so far. I do a mix of 2D and 3D animation. I like to play with dark but colorful aesthetic to bring something that I like to call the in between, which means not a thing, but mostly mixing things like cold and warm aesthetic at the same time, or dark but cute. And I try to bring all knowledge in animation. I mean, with 2D and 3D and grain and textures and all the skills I had during the years in as a motion designer that I put
Mhm.
together and built my aesthetic with that.
Mhm.
So
And we'll talk more about that because I definitely wanna go deeper into your
yeah,
style and
it's a
what
quick
you talked
introduction.
about, what you said, the in between. But Ryan, why don't you go ahead and share with
Yeah.
us about you?
So let's see. I guess I've always been interested in movies and like narrative
Mhm.
storytelling. So I went to film school for a year at Cal State Long Beach, and I worked on a bunch of student films there. And that is sort of like how I got into creating, is just like making YouTube videos and short films with my friends. And so that just eventually evolved into doing motion graphics, because that's where the money was. I could get paid to
Mhm.
do corporate videos and like do advertisements and commercials and things. So then that just went from 2D to learning Cinema 4D, which was my first 3D software. And I realized that I could model and I can texture and I can light everything without actually having to have a camera crew and actors and everything. I could just do it, basically whatever idea was in my brain could just be created in the computer. And so that's just kind of what led me to what I do now. And now, I basically do little like bite-sized storytelling through my NFTs. And I try to go for that like cinematic, filmic look, but it's also 3D animated.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, I have a few characters that I'm developing and building a world around, and that's what I do.
Yeah, and it shows, it shows. I also will be asking you about that later on. But Yannick, I also wanna involve you because you're, part of the ecosystem. You recognize Ryan's, talent, and you're one of his collectors, so I wanna, about you, how did you start collecting and, what drew you to Ryan's work?
Sure. So, quick story. Been in crypto since early 2016. The day I graduated college, I put all my life savings into Ethereum, which in retrospect was a good move. Um, During the day, I'm head of product for Figment, a large blockchain infrastructure company. At night, I'm the founder of Xerox Society, the first NFT gallery in Canada. Started my NFT journey in January. Um, I held CryptoKitties since 2017, but never really cared. And was never really into art until I found out about digital art earlier this year. Started listening
Mhm,
to interviews with digital artists making the move into NFTs, and their work just captivated me. And
mhm,
so in January, I started collecting, and initially dipped a toe in the pool, but very quickly fell in the pool. By March, I had one of the top 60th collections of all time on Super Rare, and I was like, okay, let's slow down. But also at that point, I was like, okay, I want to do more for this space, and the best way to onboard more people to the NFT world and crypto art was to create somewhat of a museum. So
mhm,
started Xerox Society as a nonprofit organization focused on democratizing access to digital art, but also helping people understand the impact NFTs can have for digital artists and even contemporary artists. So we run a gallery for about 3,000 square feet in downtown Montreal. Run it a bit as a museum where we have 2 months long exhibitions where we curate exhibition around a given theme and get artists to create artwork specifically for the exhibition around a given theme and around a given resolution for the screens. Also run a grants program for Canadian artists. So we run seminars every Mondays. We pay for all their minting fees, listing fees, and get them mentorship with artists and collectors. So just trying to do more for the space and kind of slow down on the collecting to help more people on board. But it's
mhm,
always been important for me to support artists I love. And the piece I bought from Ryan was I don't know if it's melancholy, but just felt attached to the idea that technology will always thrive even in a world where humans don't survive,
mhm,
and this kind of nostalgia around the early days of gaming kind of caught my attention. Always
mhm,
loved Ryan's style, and he's an amazing storyteller, even with
mhm.
very you know, short loops, he's able to bring you into his world, and that's what I've loved.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
I actually have one of Oelhan's pieces, so I'll touch on you too,
Yeah.
Oelhan, because
Sure.
you said that you focus on the in between, and I
Yeah.
also saw it on your bio that's described as soft
Mhm.
psychedelia. And
Yeah.
that's
Sure.
like the perfect way to describe your style. So I want to know,
Cool.
how did you arrive to that brand or that style? Because it's very you, and h- I
Mm.
want to know about the journey, your journey to get there and identify that.
Okay. So actually, I started making personal projects in 2014, and after like working a lot and making loops, and I know I polished this style like years after years. I did a lot of, if you scroll my Instagram, you'll see that there is a lot of different styles, different experiments with colors, textures, color blocks, and I went through a lot of style. I test a lot of things before to get there. But
Mm,
actually, I don't really know why I get exactly there. It's just at a point there was an aesthetic, a feeling, this loop thing that
mhm,
catch my own eyes, kind of, and I was like, okay, that's my thing, or the thing I enjoy the most, where I feel like
mhm,
it's a bit different. I put myself in it, and I don't know. Through the years, I just went by itself. Clearly,
mm.
it
It
wasn't.
came organically.
It wasn't synced. Yeah, it came organically, exactly.
Very cool.
So
And Ryan,
experiments.
going back to what Yannick was saying, that you're a great storyteller, and then when you were talking about your background in film, that made total sense, because every time that I look at your pieces, I'm like, oh, this is like Star Wars
Yeah.
quality. Like like this is like a
Pretty
short
much it.
clip of like a Star Wars movie. This is amazing. So
Definitely
I
grew up
want
watching Star
to,
Wars.
yeah, so I want to talk about a little bit about that, and kind of know what are some of those films that have been uh really influential in your style today.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely Star Wars, Star Trek. I mean, more recently, Pixar. Like, I love anything that Pixar makes. All the Toy Story
Mm.
movies, Up, all the classics. Um, that's pretty much the inspiration for most of my work.
Yeah. And how, so with this the latest piece, Joyride,
Mhm.
can you tell me about the process of creating a character from scratch?
Yeah. So, it just starts with me drawing stuff on my iPad. I'll just like draw little character designs that I think might be interesting in 3D.
Mhm,
And then I'll just take those sketches and I'll start modeling them in 3D, and then, figuring out like, okay, like how's it going to move? Like, is this like something that's going to be expressive? Like, what can I do with this character? Or, how am I going to be able to express like emotion through the design of the character? Um,
mhm,
so those are some things I think about. And then I just kind of see what works and what doesn't. Not everything ends up working. I don't post everything that I make, but sometimes designs do work, and that's what I end up sharing. um,
yeah.
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 That's awesome. And talking about sketches, I think this is a good segue to go into the challenge. For those who don't know, we are going to um, be creating a NFT live, just like Bob Ross. He was making, his paintings live. So how this work is that we submitted, I tweeted asking for the community to propose a word. And I selected a word. And once we start with the challenge, Ryan and Olhan will have 10 minutes to sketch something inspired by this word. So let's get into the challenge.
Good luck.
All right. So we are ready to start with the challenge. So for today's episode, we had a community member comment on the tweet for the episode. Uh, his or her, I'm not sure um, what the gender is, but the handle is Tylesh Stashi at Tylesh Stashi from South Africa. She or he posted the word descendant. So so the so the word so the word for the this today's challenge is descendant. So I'm going to start a 10-minute uh, timer and you guys can start. So 3, 2, 1, go.
First comment, I'm glad to be on the other side.
You have to comment what we were doing, or
Uh,
I want to see Jordan's screen.
no, so I can see both of your screen, but you'll be able to see it on the actual episode. But
Okay.
so okay, so Yannick, you and I can have fun with this. We can ask as many questions as we can. But
It's up and running.
yeah, Jordan's in the lead. I want to know, is this how you really start like your creative process when you're creating a piece? Do you start using this software?
me?
Yeah, both of you.
Yeah, sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, me, I just do it on a piece of paper, but since it's recorded, I go with Illustrator.
For sure.
So, yeah.
All right. Is the timer started?
Yeah.
There's
You have like 8 minutes left.
descendant. Okay.
Actually, when I saw this tweet, I was like, maybe I'll just think about it a little because it's a hard one.
Yeah.
Yannick, have you?
From my iPad.
No.
Okay.
Have you seen like artists create live before?
Yeah, actually, we did that at one of our exhibition launch party. We had Ifora and Malavita do a piece live.
Oh, that's super cool.
But they didn't have 10 minutes, they had an hour and a half. And it was a collab, which was fun. And they had drinks, so.
That's cool.
Less pressure.
I should do that. We should have drinks next time. But Ryan, you must be kind of in your element in a way because you were in like Australians Got Talent, right?
Yeah.
And so how is this compared to that?
Well, we were creating live on the show. But yeah, we had very short deadlines for those projects. It was spent like 3 weeks, making a 2-minute to 3-minute piece of like dance and animation. So that's pretty crazy.
That sounds more stressful than this, but I bet that was a cool experience.
Themes too, like we had to come up with different ideas. Like one of them was paint, like about paint. Like she entered like a painting, and so the whole world was made out of paint, and she would interact with different things in the painting. And like another one was like she went into a clock, so like she was like the size of the gear inside of the clock, and like we created like all these characters like that were themed around that.
That's cool.
Yeah, you're making Ryan talk too much. He has to focus.
You have
Jordan, I like where you're going with this.
6 minutes.
Descending into a cave. I don't know. My take on descendant.
So I was going to ask, what does the word descendant mean to you? and Ryan just spoke, so Oelhan, let's start with you.
Actually, I was thinking of what's the word? Historical descendants, like father, son, and dad.
Yeah.
So I was basically making a kind of characters going like this way, like I mean with the characters scaling up and offsetting one after another, something like this. Maybe in the center.
Jordan, are we our descendants shadows or the other way around?
Oh, those two.
That is true. Wait, that question just threw me off. What would you say, Yannick?
I think it goes both ways, where we are a reflection of where we come from, but also we have to leave where we come from in our shadow to actually grow.
That is true. Do you guys have any descendant like within your family? Was there any person that inspire you to explore your creative side? This is for Ryan and Oelhan.
Um, my dad he's into like audiovisual production, so he was also like into film a little bit. He also got me my first laptop to learn editing on, so he definitely like encouraged that for sure.
That's awesome. What about you?
Going full on Mission Impossible. Yeah. More like Descend than Descend.
Hey, whatever it means to you, that's totally fine. What about you, Oelhan? Do you have any inspiration or like effects within your family?
Actually, not really in my family. Like I'm the only one doing like art or things like this, but I have parents who always pushes me to do whatever I want, just do something clever.
Yeah.
Kind of. So.
Yeah.
Not really.
That's cool too. I mean, some people, are not creative, but they support you and your vision, and that's what matters. So I want to ask, so this is actually something that that I love asking because it gets into the reason why what you do, the things that you do. So the question is, what do you want people to understand about you when they are looking at your pieces?
To me, I just like want that they kind of feel something, like they watch it a lot of times and find details, and I just that they stare at it and be like feeling something, hearing the instant, like the colors and the shapes, just like I do when I see something I like, and kind of feel the vibe, like music. Like you watch it and you're like, oh, I like it. That's the best way to explain that.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah. I guess I just want people to feel something when they see my work, maybe like either thought-provoking or feel an emotion of some kind. But I mean, really, I'm just making what I want to make, like making the art that I want to see in the world. So it's funny you brought up Pixar earlier, because I do feel like you have such an ability to give emotions and make people feel something through your characters and your scenes.
Yeah.
So I think you don't want to give yourself enough credit for that. Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Have you cried watching a Pixar movie?
Yeah. I recorded.
I definitely cried on Toy Story. like the last one when they thought they were all about to die and they were like holding hands.
I don't think I ever cried, but in Disney movies.
So Oelhan, you're going for a happy feeling on your piece.
Yeah, actually, I was thinking maybe to. I think they're going to go like this way, like this way, and the characters goes up, and you see the one finished, and the one after maybe is sad or different emotion every time, maybe somehow. But also gonna like shake their hair or something. I don't know yet because of this kind and the animation, like actually the design and animation come at the same time when I work.
Yeah.
Mostly the emotion I make that brings the expression at the end.
For sure.
Yeah.
You guys have 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7.
Actually, I think I have that.
Ryan, are we descending into a forest? Yeah.
Time's up. I clicked it before it sounded, but it was up. 10 minutes are up. Put your pencils down. Put your mouse down. What? I mean, Ryan, you started on like minute 8. So I'm actually really impressed by your sketch. So is this a continuation of the other characters that you've created before?
No, this is completely different.
Okay.
I just I heard descendant and I took descend out of that. And so I drew a guy descending into a cave. And I started drawing these like tentacle things that were coming out. And then I was like, maybe they're actually trees. And so now he's
descendant.
Of course, inside the cave.
When you surprised me there, I was like, okay, definitely going into a cave. And I'm like, there's fucking leaves in there.
That looks super cool. I cannot wait to see the final product. And Oelhan, you went for very much your soft psychedelia style, and I can already see where this is going for. But just what are you envisioning for this piece?
Actually, I don't really know yet. I mean, probably different motion with each characters, like to maybe kind of a dance, like when you see swimmers, like a line, and I don't know. I would see that how like which motion would be most interesting in terms of composition and look,
Yeah.
And but definitely keep the offsetting characters and multiplication and maybe moving the camera with parallax. So
Yeah.
I had to figure it out.
Well, you're certainly will. Well, this has been an amazing experience for me to watch both of you start this piece live with us. I feel super blessed to every time that I get to do this, and we'll see your final product on the reveal later on. So definitely stay tuned for that. And I also want to take a moment to talk about you guys before we go and what you have going on. Oelhan, we'll start with you. But you just released your mixed feelings collection on Super Rare. It's available, just dropped. Check it out on Super Rare. Oelhan, and then they can also look you up, your work, and follow your career and everything that you're doing at Oelhan underscore TV on Twitter. And is it the same on Instagram?
Yeah, it's the same.
Oelhan underscore TV on Instagram. And Ryan, I know that you have a pretty big drop coming up on Nifty Gateway. It's going to be your first solo drop March 1st, correct? I'm super excited to see it happen and keep seeing your growth. I think both of you have shown like tremendous growth throughout this year, and I'm very happy that I get to share some of this. And it's kind of also um cool because it's the end of the year, so we're like closing like really strong with the people that I admire, and hope that we can continue to build on this relationship. So yeah, check out Ryan at Ryan underscore Talbot underscore on
On Instagram, it's Ryan Talbot underscore art. On Twitter, it's Ryan underscore Talbot underscore.
perfect. Okay, great. And whoever
So,
oh,
I'm
hi.
still one of my collectors, so just wanted to say thanks, and I know you have my piece.
Yeah, Soul and Bloom. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, can I just like say a few words about Oelhan?
Oh, for sure. No, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, so I was looking through super rare, like one, because I don't have a ton of ETH. So I was looking for, I was like in my price range. But like I found Oelhan's work. And I think it's really cool because it's very different than what I do, but it still utilizes 3D. And I think you use Cinema 4D, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So he utilizes 3D in a very different way than I do, where it's like he kind of like, and let me know if I'm saying this wrong, but I feel like you build the base in Cinema 4D, and then you also do a lot of like texturing and animating in After Effects using 2D. And I think it's really cool because that's just very different than from what I do, which is just like trying to do everything in the 3D program. So it just creates a very like different result, and I think it's cool.
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I love hosting this because everybody gets love. Everybody gets to say how they feel about each other that they don't say on DM. But once you're in person or in situations like this, it's very easy. So thank you, all three of you, for joining and creating this, starting this amazing pieces. And we'll see you on the next episode of The Joy of NFTs. And thank you everyone for joining. Have a good one, guys.
Bye. Thanks.